Hey, you! Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I'm your host, SlowpokeFelitos, bringing you guys episode 18 of season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. And guys, we're halfway through the season already. We have, pardon my French, ShutUpDanny stopping by the show here. It's in the name, so. But we have Danny here stopping by the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show for episode 18. This man right here is the brother of season 2's guest, the real deal Castillo. Both brothers and both former professional wrestlers, which now, by the time of this recording, they're hopping back into the professional wrestling indie scene, and hopefully they'll score a deal at a different company that is popularizing the television programming. But for now, we have Danny talking about the hardships of how to balance between both having to retire from professional wrestling at the time of this recording to even like the balancing the streaming life as well too, his hobby of choice, playing retro games, and the roads and hardships of being a professional wrestler on the road and not having a guaranteed money at the end of a show or two. But before we go any further, guys, the subscriptions, the views, you guys have been killing it, guys. Thank you guys so much for believing in the content that we do. If you guys can like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so that way you keep the lights on here in the House of Slowpokes for the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show series. But without any further ado, the one, the only, ShutUpDanny. Let's go!
Here we go, guys. Ring the bell. We have the one, the only, and I don't mean disrespect. Shut up, Danny. Shut up, Danny. Okay, I want you to shorten it up to Danny because I don't want to keep telling you to shut up because it's not my intention. It's just in the name. It's just in the name.
Hey, no disrespect here. Even if you want to, by all means, tell it. I don't care.
Shut up. No. It's something that feels good, man. But Danny, welcome over to the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. It is so great to finally have you here in season 3, mind you, no less. We are halfway through the season here of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Danny, please tell us, how does it feel to be here, man?
Brother, I am honored, and it is an absolute privilege to be here, man. I know we've been talking about it on Instagram and in the Discords as well about, hey, when we going to get you on here so we can chop it up? And we finally got it to have, man. I'm ready to make magic.
Absolutely, and we're finally having here. And speaking of brother, we previously had in season 2 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, we had the real deal Castillo. And for those that don't know, blood brothers, correct?
Yes, sir. Blood brothers.
And both former professional wrestlers.
Yes, sir. Former professional wrestlers. Did it. Me had a little bit of the longer career, 8 years. He did it for 6.
Right.
Tagged together, went against each other, up and down the road. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, and before we get to any of those details, Danny, could you please tell the House of Slowpokes, those that are watching the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, who you are and where do you stream, my friend?
What is going on, you guys? As Slowpoke said, it is your boy, ShutUpDanny. You call me Danny if you guys want to. If you want to tell me shut up, tell me shut up. I don't mind it. I am currently streaming out of Toledo, Ohio. I've been in Ohio my entire life. I'm a big video game nerd. I love video games. A big professional wrestling fan, former professional wrestler myself. Pet enthusiast. I have loved animals my entire life. Hopefully trying to fulfill my girlfriend's dream of owning a farm and having every single one of those animals one of those days. That's an option.
Wow. That's something I never knew about that, man. That's cool.
She wants a llama. She wants to call it Cusco.
Cusco is poison. Poison for Cusco.
The Cusco's poison.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Tell me real quick, the whole farm thing, like, has that kind of been like an ambitious thing all your life, or is it kind of like just already in your midlife? It's just like, okay, cool. I'm kind of want to like invest in something that I want to actually grow and hopefully retire one day and stuff. Was that something you established right in the beginning, or it kind of just came about?
So she brought that to me,
okay.
Like when we got our husky Colby.
Yeah.
When we got him at like 3 months old, and she was like, now I want to have every other animal. And I'm like, what other animals could you possibly want? She was like, I want a goat. I want geese. I want a cow. I want a llama. And I'm like, what are we going to get a llama for? She's like, I want to call it Cusco. And I'm like, so what's next? A white cat named Yzma? She's like, uh-huh. And I was like, so does that mean I got to buff up and call myself Kronk? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, great. Okay, now I got to put that on the bucket list.
Well, I mean, you do have the repertoire of, being a professional wrestler, and like that is no easy task. Like, not even to like to be fit at all, just like to be in the stamina of actually enduring the pain and the physicality of when it comes to be a professional wrestler. Now, prior to that, though, did you start off with Twitch streaming during your wrestling career, or was it kind of already in between?
So Twitch came after my wrestling career. So.
Okay.
Professional wrestling for me started when I was 16 in high school.
Okay.
I started my sophomore year. I trained for about 6 months, and that's where I met current Impact Wrestling superstar and now X Division champion Trey Miguel. Got a shout out to the homie.
Oh, okay.
That's where I met him. And
Right.
I told myself one of these days I will stand across the ring from him.
Okay.
Lo and behold, years later, it happened in my brother's promotion of Northwest Ohio Wrestling here in town.
Okay.
Me and Trey had a few matches back and forth.
Right.
And when we finally had the big blow-off match, the big 2 out of 3 falls,
Sure.
that was the crowning moment of my career and my life, because at that moment I can never recreate again, because it's like catching lightning in a bottle. You know, you have everybody in the room invested in it, and no matter what you do, you know you're going to hit that high, and you don't think you're going to hit it again. And that was from me personally.
Right.
And so then after that, throughout my career and everything, I was doing some things inside the ring, some things outside the ring.
Right.
Gonna touch into a little bit of personal life here.
Sure.
I was with somebody. I'm not going to give that person any acknowledgement or anything like that. They not on my time.
Okay.
That person sent me down a bad road after the fallout.
Okay.
And for me personally, I don't think I was ever physically able to recover from it. And it made my health decline. It made me lack on the things I needed to do with professional wrestling. And after that, I just wanted to seclude myself away from it. I didn't want to do it no more. It was just like, this isn't me no more. That person I knew is gone.
So you fell out of love with professional wrestling? Is that what you meant to say?
Yeah, I fell out of it, and then it just came down to the point where now my health was going down bad. I was working more. I was just involved in video games more. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't get back into it. There's no physical way I'm going to get back into it.
Yeah.
But now, seeing that I could have an opportunity again, when the placement I'm in now, I'm more better now. I'm back up to where I feel like I should be. Now I just got to put the hard work in, and I can get back there.
Yeah, and when you mentioned about things like coming back to wholesome, because now with the whole pandemic thing, 2 years, 3 years later, now it's kind of things are opening back up slowly but surely. The one company that you're actually wearing, if you guys are watching the video here, you're wearing All Elite Wrestling gear right there, my friend. All Elite Wrestling, AEW, has been doing wonders for those that are working in the independents. Where guys, if you don't know, many people that like casually watch wrestling, they watch WWE or AEW, sometimes Impact. They have other branches of lower, like, I don't want to say lower tier, but like unknown potential in independence. So like, say for example, like, you know, Target and Walmart are this, and then like you have local spots like Walgreens, CVS, all that kind of stuff. You have all these independent promotions that have these potential professional wrestlers that are getting these opportunities to be on live TV, to be on YouTube, and to sometimes they don't get paid, but they get the exposure for you to actually be there and make yourself a name. Danny, and especially with your brother Castillo, going back to him as well, is that something potentially in the future where both of you guys can actually, you know, come together once again into the independents and hopefully get an opportunity such as an AAW?
It's an opportunity. It's a long shot for me, but I know for him, we've already talked, and him and our teacher Chambers, they are coming back. We do hit the road again starting next month. Little tidbit there.
Whoa, okay.
We do come back, but I'm going to be in a little bit of the managerial role.
Okay.
Until I get myself to that ready where I feel like I'm ready to get back into the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, if I do get back into it, that is where I ultimately want to have one opportunity at. If I don't get signed, I'm not mad at it, but the opportunity to perform in front of those people of AEW, the executives there, Tony Khan, you know, whoever else is back there, because now Cody Rhodes is being in WWE anymore. I can't come in front of Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Getting that opportunity will be another crowning achievement in my life that I could say I could be done with and close the book and I'm good.
Yeah. It's almost really enlightening that you're having that spark that's igniting once again for professional wrestling. Now, coming back to where in the introduction of this episode so far, we mentioned about that you are a part-time Twitch streamer. Where specifically right now are you currently at in this moment of time? Because I believe in the past month, you've only put out like maybe one stream, I believe, or like there's like maybe not too many streams that have been putting out. Where do you find yourself as of late right now?
So I've had the enableability. What English is hard. The adaptability of holding myself back from actually putting the work in. Now, I do know, like in my outside job, my real life job, I'm a store manager for an AT&T store. I'm in that store anywhere between 45 to 50 hours a week. So I'll come home, I'm tired. I don't want to stream. I just want to play the game with the guys, or I want to go lay in bed and watch TV. Or, I'm not in it. But now that we're getting into the slower times, I don't have to be there at 45 plus hours. I can be at that 44 and a half, 43 and a half threshold, and I can come home early enough or like schedule myself later in the day, and I can have a morning stream, or I can leave early, have an afternoon, mid-evening stream now.
Right.
And, I can get my days off to where I can have everything done then to where I can come out and put the content out now. It's now for me just finding that right opportunity to make it make sense.
So then for you, prior to having this already set plan, how hard was it for you to like not being able to stream, or not being able to like provide people that, because recently you've just actually broken the 300 follower ceiling, my friend. Big congratulations for you on that.
Thank
but
you.
again, going back to that question, was just like, how hard is it to pull the trigger where you're just like, you know what, I just don't have it in me. The social like draining when when you're at work and everything, and then coming back, you probably have a social life outside of streaming too as well. How hard is it to almost pull back and not be able to stream?
So generally for me, like my morale at work, if I'm having a great day, it's like now I got this energy. I want to do more than that because I'm coming off the high of the day. But if I have a bad day where I'm getting like negative energy from people coming into the store and it's just problem after problem after problem, it weighs on me like that extra weight that you don't want no more.
Oh yeah.
And like the moment I walk out the door, it's like, I don't want this no more. I'm done for the day. I checked out. I clocked out twice. I'm clocked out for the week. I'm just ready to go home, pop on some tunes, put on some wrestling, whatever, and just be me. Just be Danny, kick my feet up and just relax.
Right.
But then like I said, when I have those days where I do have those highs, I'll come home, I'll have dinner, a quick shower. I'll jump on the game with the guys. We'll run some Fortnite. We'll run some Overwatch. Or even just chillax and just play some Uno,
Okay.
Ruin each other's night in Uno.
Destroy friendships in that game, huh?
Absolutely. That and Monopoly.
Oh, my goodness. So then coming back from there, like, because it never was usually like this, right? Like there was a certain point in time where you actually had the momentum going into, garnering 300 followers, right? In the beginning of it, how easy was it for you to actually go on streaming at a constant rate, or like was it like a bi-weekly thing, or did you have scheduled, or is it just like, when you felt like it?
It was the scheduled. I had it set mainly scheduled time frame. When I started doing back when I was doing Pokemon Sword, you were always in there with me, just chiming in there from time to time. It was always early afternoon, so I was like, okay, I think I found my niche for the time frame. So I always picked mid afternoon, early afternoon, and just rode that momentum that I was just accumulating off of.
Right,
and then. Now that I'm now coming home like 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is 5 p.m. your time. That's usually about, everybody's home or at work for your night shift people, or people that are, not from the States. They're, over in England.
Right.
They're going to bed or stuff like that. So I know I'm not getting mostly anybody there unless I got like a super night owl out there, which is perfectly fine. I'm just out there to have a good time. I don't care if I'm talking to one person or I'm talking to a million. I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my friends every single day, like I've known you my entire life. And that's just how I look at it. If it's we're out here, I'm vibing off of my chat and my chat's vibing off of me, we're having a good time. That's all I want to do. I rather would love people to come in and be like, wow, this guy's really funny. This guy's energetic. I like his energy. Then some guy's like, hi, welcome to my stream.
Right.
I'm playing Call of Duty. Nobody that doesn't gravitate towards me, and I don't want to be that guy for people.
Yeah, like almost faking it, and almost having like that alter ego where you're just like, all right, cool. Once the camera's on, this is me. This is like I'll play this character. Then once I'm off, I'm like, F this. Like I just don't want to. I can't. I don't have the energy to carry this over to as an outside streaming life. With that being said, with that what you were mentioning about. people like gravitating towards the stream, and it's just like, okay, if you like the content or not. Has it ever happened to you where someone has actually come over to your stream and like start like talking smack, or just like, you know, almost like trying to bring down your self-esteem and trying to, you know, almost like sidetrack the stream as a whole?
Yep, I've had that happen a couple times, but look, for me, I'm a '90s kid. I love the '90s. I love the good shows from the '90s. Immediately, I got him treated like Jazzy Jeff, man. I got to Uncle Phil him out. Come on, now. Get out of here. I got to Uncle Phil him out. Just, hey, Jazz, you see the door right there?
Or is that Beverly Hill Cops who just throw him out the window?
Absolutely, every time. If you're gonna come in here, you start trying to kill the vibe. Uncle Phil. Right.
But do you does whenever, if someone mentions that to you, is there like a moment in time where something that, like, you know, triggers in your mind that you, it's almost embedded in your brain where it happened to you, like during the stream, and you kind of didn't know what to do, or where you're just like, you handled it at ease, like, all right, just kick them out?
You got to get them out immediately. I don't give them any attention. It's just like in professional wrestling, you get the people that are heckling you. Hey, look, I'll say it to the person in the fifth row who says that I'm horrible and I'm not doing my job right. You want to do it better than me? You come in here and you try and you see what you see. Put yourself in my shoes. See, can you do what I do, but do it better? And that's the thing. Like, negativity is not a thing for everybody, and it doesn't need to be a thing for everybody. People need to understand that being hateful and spiteful to somebody because they're having a good time because you've had a bad day, that doesn't make you the bigger person. That still makes you lower than them. Yeah. Because not only did you just ruin their day, you make yourself think that you had the power. But at the ultimate end of the day, now you got to sit there and feel like, wow, I really ruined somebody else's day just because I had a bad day. Yeah, it don't have to come to that. No, and many people, you see, I would assume that you see this too as being on social media, especially like on Twitter, for example. Like it's successful sometimes, depending who you actually communicate. And it's funny that you mentioned with the almost the similarities between streaming and as a professional wrestler, with like the fans and whatnot being like hecklers or like they can cheer you on. You see that with social media, and it kind of hurts because like you would think that us streamers would band together and be like, hey, you know what? I wanted this to be a place of like comfort and people to come by and check out the streams. But when you see that sort of stuff, do you kind of like avoid the people that you want to that you follow, for example, and they start talking smack about other streamers, or you just bear with it, or you just don't pay attention to it whatsoever? I pay attention to it. I don't get involved in anybody else's their own agendas or issues that they have. Right. They want to do what they want to do. Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on with my day or go on with my stream, so on and so forth. I look at it like this: I'm not big and famous. Nor do I claim I ever want to be big and famous. Would I love to be one day? Absolutely. Just to say I did it. For me, I'm happy being that guy that's in the middle, or the guy that just gets a little bit of success here and there. It doesn't have to be consistent. I don't want it to be I catch lightning in the bottle and then my life just spirals out of control. Like everybody's like, hey man, like I want you to do this and this and this and this and this. Like, whoa, hold up, slow, pump the brakes. I'm gonna hit you with the rock. Whoa. Hold up. Right. Let me take my pace. Yeah. Let me do what I got to do. And if I get there one day, I get there one day. You know? And like you said, like, back what you're saying, like with Twitter being a cesspool, it is. Especially on the wrestling side of everything. Like, I've never seen it on the streaming side of it, but I've seen it on the wrestling side. Oh, brother, there's stories for days I can go in there. Stuff that I can't talk about on this particular level. Sure. But that's like, hey, I'll see you at the nightclub at 11. We'll talk there. Or we could talk over at, if you guys don't know, Danny has a specific podcast where they could shoot the shits. I believe it is called the Marksman Wrestling Podcast, I believe, right? Yes, the Marksman Wrestling Podcast. Emphasis on marks, because we're a bunch of marks. you know, we're diehard fans. We're diehard marks. We love the business. We love to nitpick it. We love to praise it. And we love to talk about it. You know, if anybody's a professional wrestling fan, whether you're a casual fan or you're a diehard fan, if you have an opinion, you want us to discuss it, hit me up on Twitter. Tell me on Twitter, like, hey, I have a topic I want you guys to talk about. Can you guys fit it in? We'll review it with the board. The guys will sit down. We'll talk about it. We like to talk about it. We'll talk about it. If not, we'll let you know, but hey, look, unfortunately, this isn't something that we feel comfortable talking about, but, you know, we'll acknowledge it a little bit, but then we'll just go from there.
Yes, because there's, again, how you mentioned about the internet community for the wrestling part, it can be kind of very toxic. There is a time and a place for it, and I believe with your podcast, like, have you been seeing sort of traction to it too? Because again, much like here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, we interview streamers here left and right, DJs, costume players, whatever it is, you name it, down the future. But for your specific podcast, there are many other podcasts that probably relate to, like, talking about trendy topics or like outside wrestling drama. How different do you think that you guys put yourselves out there? Because it's not just yourself. You believe you have a crew set with this podcast series. Like, so with that, how do you think you put yourselves in a different pedestal than all the rest? Do you think?
So ultimately, like, I got the idea of wanting to bring the Marksman Wrestling Podcast to life from myself and my coworker, my best friend from college, Stambino.
Okay.
We were sitting at work one day and we were listening to the Busted Open podcast with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray. Okay. Unfortunately, Dave LaGreca wasn't on the show. It was Tommy Dreamer, and it was a funny episode. It was called The Fat and the Furious edition of Busted Open. I was laughing off the title itself.
Okay.
But no, just sitting there and just like how they were dissecting and analyzing each show, from like Monday Night Raw to NXT to Dynamite to Impact to SmackDown.
All those shows?
They do it every day. They do it every day, Monday through Friday over on Sirius XM.
Wow.
And I sit there and I just like started just like dissecting it, and I'm just sitting here just listening to them talk about it and just like say like, hey, this is one thing I loved about the show. This person's initial reaction when they come out, the fans don't like this person. This person's getting underneath their skin and it's making them eat it up, and that's why we're seeing this person in the limelight. And I look at it like, okay, they're giving it off a wrestler side because they've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and they have more of an opinion off it. Me, I want to give it off of my opinion, my fan side of it, and I can also give a little bit of the wrestler side of it as well. But ultimately, I want people to see like, hey, here's my opinion on it. Let's talk about it. Let me get your opinion off it. Let's talk about it. Let me get this person's opinion off it. Let's talk about it. Let's just go around on a round table and let's talk about how did we feel about this show? What did we like about the show? What did we hate? What did we dislike about the show? What could have been better? You know? And we always say it, Monday Night Raw doesn't need to be 3 hours. 2 hours at best. Those were the best days of Monday nights when it was 2 hours instead of 3. Because you got to think about it. We're getting into that third hour. You had a great beginning of the show. No one's going to care about the end unless the main event is a solid main event.
Right.
If you have like a segment at the end, brother, I will go ahead and I'll cut that off and I'll catch it on YouTube the next day, or I'll put it on Hulu and I'll just fast forward to the end.
Right. It's a paint a canvas here. To paint a canvas. I'm sorry. Mondays, 3 hour show. Tuesdays, 2 hour show.
Yep. NXT 2 hour show.
Wednesdays, 2 hour show.
Yep.
Thursdays, 2 hour show.
Yep.
Fridays, 2 hour shows.
Then Rampage, 1 hour show.
Right. So then you throw in the weekends. Sometimes with pay-per-views run 3 to 4 hours. Now, I can't do math, so hopefully in the comment section you guys have totaled all that up. But that's a lot of wrestling. That's overkill, because that's not even including Impact Wrestling. That's not including Dark, AEW Dark, Elevation, New Japan, all these other different companies, GCW and
MLW.
MLW. Where do you find yourself the time to keep up with everything? Because that wrestling may be an overload sometimes. I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan, but there's only so much time in the world. How do you find time for everything? I don't know if you ever watch all the companies, or is it just a sum or like minimal stuff?
Oh, like when I said it before, I'm a diehard fan. I'm a diehard. Like I am in there for the end. I will sit there through Monday Night Raw. But if there's time frames where like if I'm starting to clock out of it, or during the football season, Monday Night Football is a lot better. I'm gonna tune over to Monday Night Football and I'll catch the replay tomorrow while I'm at work.
Okay.
Same thing, like Elevation and Dynam Dark, they come on at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. That's last hour of work. I never see any customers anyway, so I plop it on YouTube and I'm sitting at work and I'll catch that.
Nice.
And then on the car ride home, NXT. I'm listening to NXT. I'm not physically watching it. I'm listening to it so I can still know what's going on. And then I'll get home, pop it on the laptop while I'm playing the game, listening and playing at the same time. Just so I'm there. Even though I'm not physically paying attention to it, I know what's going on still. and I still have my content that I can talk about. Wednesdays, I'm there for Dynamite. Dynamite has me hooked every week. I've only had one time where I've turned Dynamite off early, and that was just because I'm gonna be honest, I don't care for American Top Team with Dan Lambert, Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky. Now, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page by themselves, I can get behind them.
Okay.
But you bring in Dan Lambert and American Top Team, the MMA guys,
Deuces.
I'm out. I'm gonna go play some Fortnite, or I'm gonna go jump on some Uno, or you know what?
So speaking of the UFC people, like Impact Wrestling has actually tried this before, where they try to bring UFC fighters and like try to mesh with the wrestlers. What is it to you that it just doesn't click? Where like you just can't see the UFC fighters as professional wrestlers, man?
So, if they bring them in like as a celebrity appearance, and it's like a celebrity match,
yeah.
Okay, cool, I get it, but then they want to come in and be like a full-time person. Look, then I don't need to see you on my TV screen for 6-7 months.
Yeah.
I better be seeing like you putting up promo videos like, I'm here with this person getting trained, going through it. I'm trying to be a two-sport athlete, like Jake Hager. Jake Hager, MMA guy with Bellator, but he was also with the WWE and AEW. So I can do it with him because he's done it before. He makes it look easy with transitioning.
Yeah.
But like for guys that are like diehard MMA guys that are trying to get into professional wrestling, yeah, if it's like a celebrity thing, cool. But if like you're trying to be on screen every time just because you have a name in the UFC or Bellator or whatever other MMA company there's out there, no, my guy, please stay off my screen until you put in enough time in the ring to be ready to go. So you're not out here breaking somebody's jaw on accident, and next thing you know, it makes it look real because you're an MMA guy. Come on now.
Yeah. Are there exceptions between with say for the likes of like Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler? Are those the exceptions because they've actually had the experience, that like the limelight of actually being in there and like it being acknowledged and for what they are and stuff? Could it be where, for example, like the American Top Team for the UFC fighters, could there actually be a potential like almost like marinate them and sizzle them to maybe becoming a Shayna Baszler, a Ronda Rousey, or a Brock Lesnar in the wrestling community?
Now for me, like Brock came in, was a collegiate wrestler, so I knew when I seen him debut, he was going to be something.
Yeah.
When he went to the UFC, I was like, okay, if he ends his career, never comes back to WWE, I'm okay with that. But he came back. Brock has already been in that system, so he knows how to separate the two, but he brings element from the UFC into his professional wrestling to make it look more legitimate. Kudos to Brock. Shayna Baszler, she did the same thing. She transitioned out of MMA into professional wrestling, and she trained. But she was also in other companies outside of WWE that they don't acknowledge. Like she was, I believe she was in Shimmer. She did a couple stints in Japan. She was in a stint with Ring of Honor where she came out as a manager for Red Dragon.
No way.
What? Yep. Look it up. Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. I can't remember. It was a pay-per-view. I can't remember exactly which one it is.
Sure.
But she was ringside. So she's been involved with it. And then obviously Shayna and Ronda on the same team. Shayna helped train Ronda. So Ronda flew into this perfectly fine as well. It's like I'm gonna use an example from back with AEW from Full Gear this past November.
Sure. Like, phenomenal pay-per-view. Yes.
Like Andrei Arlovski.
Yes.
Dude, you've been in the UFC so long and you're not a younger guy. You getting in the ring and like doing the stuff that they're doing, you might hurt yourself a little bit, but again, he still did it. Kudos to him, but we didn't really see much. It was a street fight. It wasn't a traditional match. So I can't really nitpick that too much. It's the quote-unquote, what we call in the business, a gimmick match. You know, I don't really need to see you doing lockups or hit tosses
chain
or
wrestling.
No. Yeah, I'm not seeing any of that. I'm seeing you throw trash cans at somebody, chairs, tables, ladders, whatever. So that's just my thing. But if somebody is like switching over from one company to another, please take the time, learn the system, understand it's two different elements before jumping right on the screen.
Right. And speaking of companies, AEW once again has been alive and well and thriving for about 3 years now. When it officially launched back in, I believe it was 2019, maybe 2018, around that time. Where do you see the company from when it began and to where it is now? Because again, you and I have same sweaters, we have shirts and stuff like that. We watch the shows. What is it that AEW to you gravitates towards the audience, and for you to actually like not feel embarrassed or ashamed that if you get caught watching AEW, like you're just like, yo, come, you're gonna have a good time.
For me, AEW is a different norm than what WWE is. Mm-hmm. WWE focuses heavily on their engagement to like your children, your younger audience, the children. Mm-hmm. You know, they want it to be family friendly, which is fine. I get that. You can have a family friendly company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But AEW gives you like that hardcore, die-hard environment where, you know, they can use a little bit more of the colorful language on TV. Mm-hmm. They're not afraid to, you know, show a little bit of color on screen. It's blood.
Uh-huh.
You know, we get like different styles each show where, you know, we get like people from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Minoru Suzuki, for example, Murder Grandpa. Mm-hmm. He just defended the Ring of Honor World Television title against Samoa Joe.
Yes.
That match was heavy hitting from the start. Two
mm-hmm.
big bruisers, two big bulls just colliding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's different from like the Usos and the Street Profits in a tag match on Monday night. Mm-hmm. They have high flying, they have technical ability. This match was hard hitting.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna fall first and who's not getting back up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or from yesterday, Rampage with the Texas Death Match between Adam Cole and Adam Page.
Ooh, let's go, Adam. Adam sucks. Chance.
Yes, WWE wouldn't bring out barbed wire anymore. Don't bring out thumbtacks like they used to. They don't let big chair shots go like that. Mm-hmm. If anybody hasn't seen Rampage, I'm sorry, but I'm going to spoil it here. You're not going to see somebody get a barbed wire crown on their head and then it get dumped on their head through a table in the WWE. No, you're not going to get that. Mm-hmm. But AEW is going to give you a little bit of mix of everything to where it satisfies each niche of each individual person that they want to see, mm-hmm. which is why we've been seeing it. And their demographics, like AEW goes for this side of people, whereas WWE goes for this side of people. Me, I'm happy for both. AEW wants WWE to step up their game. Mm-hmm. People from AEW, like people in WWE, want AEW to slow it down.
Yeah.
I want both companies to succeed because I love wrestling.
Mm-hmm. It is a win-win situation, and back then in the early 2000s, we had such companies going head-to-head with each other, with WCW and WWE, and that folded, and it was just one program to watch. It was WWE. And to people, they need a fresh reminder. Again, I mentioned this already. AEW has been a company that's been thriving for about 3 years. The WWE has been thriving since the 80s. You know what I mean? Going into the 90s, early 2000s, 2010s, and they're now here in the 2020s. People don't realize that, like, the high production value that WWE provides, the amount of that they don't have to go through the limits of, you know, using barbed wire, thumbtacks, in order to keep an audience gravitated. The demographic are the children, and the merchandise is on. AEW is on its own pedestal, and the perfectly known to this is that wrestling is wrestling, and everything in every shape, size, gender, whatever it is, ethnicity, they're all thriving. And for you, Danny, like coming back into hopefully soon as a manager role and into professional wrestling back with your brother, it's gotta bring joy into you, right?
It does. Like when I got the message that my brother told me, like, hey, we're coming back, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, it's April Fool's Day.
Uh-huh.
You're not getting me here, buddy.
Oh, on April 1st.
Left him alone. Left it alone for a half hour.
Sure.
Messaged him back.
Yeah.
All right, nice prank, man. Good job. You almost got me. He's like, no, man, this is no prank. I've already got bookings, and I'm like, proof.
What?
Shows me the screenshots, and I'm like, oh, this is legit.
Yes.
Oh, this is happening. What do you need from me, manager? And I'm like, you got it.
Wow, dude. Just like that.
Just like that. Any chance I can get back on the road with the boys, just telling stories, cracking jokes, listening to music, and just overall having a fun time. It's worth it.
Well, before we actually hit the road and talking about these stories about like these road trips and flights and stuff like that, actually going from town to town or place to place to these indie wrestling shows, where is your outside life going to be mixed in the bag? Because you mentioned your girlfriend and stuff like that. Is she very understanding of your professional, like the love and joy that you have with professional wrestling? Somewhat as a almost transitional like Twitch streamer, because it's kind of like, you know, taking a seat back. And then also, like, you know, your full-time job. Where do you find yourself in that aspect for your girlfriend, or time for anybody, like your family and stuff?
So my girlfriend is understanding of everything. She knows that professional wrestling was my first love. Mm-hmm. She knew that ever since we met in junior high back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I've told it to everybody till I was blue in the face, mm-hmm. from every classroom I was in to every time they said, where do you see yourself after high school? Professional wrestler. Why? It's different. Mm-hmm. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a basketball player. I'm not a football player. I'm not a music artist. I am a wrestler. Mm-hmm. I am this other person, this other mindset. I don't have to follow the societal norm that everybody thinks they need to follow. No, I can have my own path. I can be different. And when we had NOW, I was inviting her out to every show, but unfortunately her job didn't allow her to come out to the shows, but she still cheered me on. She still said, hey, go have fun, be safe, don't get hurt, don't die.
Don't die. First and foremost, don't die. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, don't die.
Yeah.
And then when we got together, when I wasn't wrestling, but I'd still go on the road, she would go with me.
Okay.
And she would look at me and she was like, do you miss this? I was like, I do. She was like, do you still know how to do it? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, show me. So I'd get in the ring and I just do my trainings all over again. I do my rolls, I do my bumps, I hit the rope, lock up, all that stuff. And then she's like, how you feeling? I'm like, never lost a step, but I'm not confident yet. And not just yet. There's so many things that I'm missing right now. She's like, well, if you're going to do this, you know, you got my support. And I'm like, oh, this is way better than what I've had in the past.
Oh, that's very sweet.
And like now, because with her job, she works Wednesdays through Saturdays, and she doesn't get off until the mid-afternoons. Mm-hmm. Usually on show days, we're out early in the morning, so we're already on the way. So unfortunately, she wouldn't be able to go unless that weekend where the plant shuts down or she uses a PTO day or something like that. It doesn't matter. But she knows that I'm with the people I'm with. I'm safe. I'm not going to do nothing dumb.
Yeah.
And She knows that I'll be back in one piece.
Well, that's great, man. As she's packing, as she's like very thrilled to pack your bags and for you to hit the road. Now coming back to this, where the traveling when it comes to as a professional wrestler, it has many downs, somewhat ups, depending on how you look at the perspective of things. Can you tell us here, those that are watching here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, from traveling from place to place can take a toll in the mental state where you can keep yourself in shape, you can keep yourself, try to eat as much as healthy as you can, but like traveling from town to town, plane to plane, it must take a toll.
Oh, it absolutely does. For me, no planes involved. I got a fear of heights, but yet I'm jumping off top ropes and I'm diving to the floor outside.
Nice.
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult, being on the road almost every weekend. Sometimes it does take that toll, being away from home, being away from your significant other and stuff like that, and them not being there with you. It sucks a little bit, but you got a job to do. You're out there to perform. You're out there to go out there, put on match of the night, no matter what number of the card you're on, whether your first match or your last match. Mm-hmm. I look at it as like, no matter where I'm at on the card, I'm the main event. I'm going out there, going to put a show on for the people, get their money's worth. I get my money's worth, send them home happy, and then tell the boys in the back, let's go. Top that. That crowd is rocking and rolling. Let's go, boys. Come on.
Yep. Because the casual people that come by to the shows, they don't know the life of what one professional wrestler goes through, and nor that they probably care. They just say, hey, you know what? I paid my $20. I just want to watch some wrestling, and then I'm out the door after that. Has there ever been a moment in time during that road where you're just like, you know what? I want to give up because this is kind of it. Like I'm tired. I can't deal with eating fast food every day, or I just can't. I don't have enough money for gas, or like I can't even get a decent haircut, or like I can't wash my clothes. Has there been a moment where like that tipping point where you almost kind of were just like, I'm through with this. I can't do it anymore?
There's been 2 instances in my career when I was wrestling that I almost said, you know what? I'm done. Screw it. it ain't worth it to me no more.
Uh-huh.
A couple promotions that they don't run no more, so I don't have to name them.
Okay.
We would drive out there. They're in like 6-7 hours away, mind you. I'm from Ohio, 6-7 hours away. I'm like, all right, I need to be sure I'm getting this amount of money.
Yeah.
Because it's covering trans back home to and from.
Yep.
It's also if we're getting a hotel, and it's also covering my food. It sucks being on the lower end of that stick because when you have somebody who's been in the business a little bit longer, like Chambers, who's in there a lot longer than us,
Sure.
he gets paid first.
Yeah.
There would be nights where I never got paid, ever.
Oh man.
And from those companies that kept wanting to bring us out, and my brother being like, "Hey, look, man, just come on, we need you out there," and I'm like, "No, dude, I'm not gonna go out here 6-7 hours, bust my ass, and potentially get hurt, and not get anything out of it." No. Last time, like, I'll be honest with you, one time almost took dude's sound equipment and be like, "Hey, you want this back? Give me I need money, bro. I need compensation." It got real out there.
You held the sound equipment hostage in order to get paid.
Look, man, it was the first and last time I worked for this dude.
Oh, okay.
Because of that exact reason.
Was it kind of stingy at first, or what? You're just like, I kind of have something fishy that's happening.
He came up to me at the end of the show and was like, "Hey, man, like, I hate to be that guy, but unfortunately, we didn't draw as much as we thought we would, and I can't pay you tonight." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm sorry." It's like, if there's anything, if I can try to do something, but it wouldn't be tonight, brother. And I'm like,
"Oh,
hold
my
up.
God."
I drove 6+ hours. I worked 2 matches for you because 2 people didn't show up, and I'm not getting paid. I was like, "Where's your sound equipment at? I'll take that as payment." And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take your sound equipment as payment, I guess." And he was like, I can't have you do that. I was like, "Well, then you need to go find some money for me real quick, or this is gonna be the last time you see me." And like my brother's trying to calm me down and everything, calm me down, and I'm like, "No, dude, you can't. No, this is a business. I'm not getting short shafted here."
Yeah.
I've been through that like my first year of professional wrestling. Like, yeah, you accept a hot dog and a handshake, cool. First year dumb kid, yeah, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
No, this is years into this, man. That's not gonna fly for me.
Holy crap, dude. Did you end up getting paid though?
Oh, he ended up getting $50 for me, and I took that instead. I took $50.
Man, that's aggravating, dude. When you have people, the promoters, that you put your body and soul through the canvas, and mind you, rings are not soft. And people think that they're like cushions or like they're like bed. No, it's complete opposite. It's like, what is it, like wood and like a bunch of, I can't remember. Like, please describe a ring in general for the audience here, that almost paint that scenario, like that picture of getting slammed onto something.
All right, so I want everybody to just imagine 4 steel pillars, beams going each side of the ring, like 4, making it a perfect square. Beams steel beams going across one side, and then another set of beams going over them. Then you have your thick wood going all across one side of the ring. You got your carpet, your canvas, your secondary canvas. That's it. That's all that's there. There's no springs that do that. You want to know why you're getting that bouncy effect? It's because it's those metal bars pushing up and down from the momentum of us being in the ring. That's your spring. But one time, and this is going to be one of the dumbest things I ever say, I had a match with one of my former roommates.
Okay.
We had a street fight. And we didn't call this spot. I had him down in the corner. I ripped off one of the bungee cords that had the apron tied to the ring.
Okay.
I proceeded to choke him out with it, and the referee's telling me, "Hey, do you guys know what the next spot is? What's the next spot?" And I'm like, give me a minute. Let it go. And I'm thinking, I'm just looking around, and I'm like, hey, screw it. We're the main event. Might as well help out with teardown. Started tearing apart the ring.
What?
I tore out the carpet. I tore the canvas back.
What?
I exposed the wood, and somebody, like, I had, like, a little kid said, "Dude, what are you doing?" And then as soon as I heard that, and I turned around and I looked at him, and I'm like, "You want to do this, kid?" you do what I'm doing right now, and you see if you can make it. To like a 10-year-old kid, and like I knew I stored it's like fear in this little kid.
Yeah.
Like, you think that this was a trampoline,
Uh-huh.
and like now he's seeing like metal and wood, and one of my buddies who was near him, he was like, "Oh, it's about to get real."
Oh,
I get back into the ring.
Yeah.
I'm pulling back more of the canvas, and now the boards are getting more exposed.
Mhm.
And here's the bad part of the story.
Okay.
I bring my buddy over for a Future Shock DDT.
Okay. So you're head first into the canvas, correct?
Correct,
Okay.
but this is where it messed up.
Huh.
As I went, one of the boards popped up, and I came down on it back first into that board because I was sticking straight up.
Oh God!
I hit first. He came down on top of me, and
Yeah.
it pushed the board back down. And all you hear is a subtle scream out of me, like, "Ugh." And somebody was like, "Oh, I think he might have broke something."
Oh my!
Luckily, I didn't. But we go to the next spot. I go for the pinfall. He kicks out at 2, and the referee's like, "How is that not the finish?" I was like, "I don't know. We don't even know what the finish is." We didn't even call a finish. We were just like, we're just gonna keep going until one of us is done.
Oh my God! And that is the brutality one goes through when being a professional wrestler out on the road with no money guaranteed, depending on who you get booked by, and like the blood, the sweat, and tears are just as real as one is acting in like soap operas or in TV shows or actual like sporting events like football and soccer. So I really do hate the fact that when people actually say like, "Oh, wrestling's fake," it's just like it's choreographed. Of course it is. It's predetermined, but it engages the viewers of like almost like forgetting about your problems, and that's what I think with what's lovely about Twitch. The loving part about it is like that whole gravitational pull of like, whatever problems you're going through or whatnot, I'm here to actually be here on Twitch for you guys for the little amount of time that you want to give me and play games as Danny, you play like games such as Pokemon Coliseum at one point, like that, those type of games, like they're comforting and people just come by and just kick back. I don't know if for you, like, do you have whenever you're streaming, do you have actually people gravitating in the chat, or like you just like be there and like, hey, you know what, if you guys want to lurk, by all means, or how is it like for in your type of way for your community or the way that you stream? And so like when you're on live, is it more of that aspect of being talkative, or like people just tune in for the games?
It's a little bit of both. Like I have some people that'll come in and they're like, "Holy crap! Haven't seen this game in so long. How did you find it?" And I'll tell the story how I found the game, or like, "Hey, I still own this thing, so maybe." And I do my research before I play certain games, especially like the classic games, because it's like, is somebody currently doing this right now? Is there anybody who's even interested in watching this game? Do people even know about this game? And when I do see like there are some videos out there like from years ago that people used to watch this game on this particular platform, it's like, okay, awesome. So I still have a chance like to get this game back out some exposure. Which like if I have it right here, which I should,
sure, man,
because I always keep it with me here at the desk.
All right,
like this prize beauty right here, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube.
Wow,
this game right here is the sequel to Pokemon Coliseum. That game is one of my absolute favorite games I've ever played in my entire life. No matter how many times I can run through the game and get frustrated, it will always be a game I can go back to no matter what.
What makes it that for you?
Just the ability, like, so you're in the world of saving Pokemon.
Okay.
From the evil forces that are turning them evil with shadow powers. It's just like, if they were to do this again, but remaster that game nowadays on the Nintendo Switch,
right
now you could see this other game that was years ago get brought to a new generation of Pokemon players who can now get immersed into this game. It's just funny to me because it's like, I see a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, that's a great concept of the game. You think they'd ever remaster it?" Hey, Nintendo, if you want to do it, you got to market it. It's there. You can easily get this game remastered.
You can see the potential in that. Man, that's freaking amazing though. Like you'll be able to hold that treasure of a GameCube game like that. Do you consider yourself playing a lot of more retro games now going into the future, now that like going into like backtracking in our conversation when we first started here about almost having like a set plan. Do you feel like now like that could be probably like your niche of like playing retro games rather than like the newer games like Fortnite or like, I don't know, the new Call of Duties that are coming out? It's like that sort of stuff, or you just wanting to stick back to retro games?
So I can be both. Okay. I can be whatever somebody wants me to be for them. Mm-hmm. They want me to play Fortnite, I'll play Fortnite. I leave it up to the people. Like, I'll put a poll out on Twitter. If they want me to play Fortnite, I'll put Fortnite up as an option. Mm-hmm. You want me to play a retro game? I'll play a retro game. We'll run through that. We'll make a mini series out of it. Yeah. We'll do a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Mm-hmm. However many parts it's going to take for me to get through this game, we're going to do it together.
Right.
But for me, I know one game series I'll never touch is Call of Duty. Warzone absolutely ruined it for me. Like if you want to play multiplayer, we'll play multiplayer. But Warzone, nah, dog. Go break your controller somewhere else. I'm not there for that anymore.
There goes Danny's viewership. So be it, though.
That's the heel side of me.
And now, some slowly but surely rapid fire questions. Danny, are you ready?
Then, for the 1,000 in attendance and the millions watching at home, let's get ready. Right. I'm not trying to get hit with a cease and desist. We're not doing that.
Ring the bell.
I'm not doing that.
Ring the bell. What is currently to you right now a show that a lot of people are not really feeling it? They're hating it, but you're like, I see the potential and people should give it a chance.
Halo. 100% Halo.
The Halo series.
Reason being Halo. You have to look at it outside of the game. Do not compare it to the game. If you compare it to the game, you're going to hate it. If you go into it with an open mind and you just let the story get you, right. You understand what they're trying to tell you, and you just go along with it, right. You're going to enjoy it. Myself and my girlfriend have absolutely been loving the series. Like, when it's on, no phones. When it's commercials, phone. When it comes back, no phones. All the way to the end.
Okay. And so if someone were to hit you with a rebuttal, like, people really don't like this show. Like, it's jaw-dropping at times because, again, maybe it's a show many years too late. When people hit you with that, what do you think?
I get it. Not every show's for everybody. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing that everybody needs to do, especially when like shows, music, even professional wrestling, go into it with an open mind. Don't be so closet based on it. Don't lock yourself in on your own personal agendas or personal beliefs to it. Mm-hmm. Just open your mind to it for like once. Mm-hmm. Give it a shot. If after that it doesn't change anything, then don't worry about it.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Got a lot of them, but I'll give you my top 3.
Sure.
Top 3. Tardiness. I hate when people say they'll be there at a time and then they show up late. It's like, look, man, I got here early just to make sure I got here. Mm-hmm. If you're going to show up late, why do you even tell me we're going to do this at all?
Right.
Number 2, clutter. Like clutterness, like clutter everywhere. Like, if it's at a home, it's at work. Mm-hmm. It's not me, man. Like, I gotta have everything know exactly where it's at. Like, I'm not OCD or anything like that. I'm not like super nitpicky about it, but it's like it just bothers me. Like, if I have a dirty, like cluttered work area, I'm not getting anything done. And then number 3, and mostly important, this one is for me. People who wear socks with sandals. That is a big pet peeve to me. It's like, why? Just wear shoes.
That's so random.
If you're wearing sandals, don't wear socks. Like, I see people doing it a lot here in Ohio, and I'm like, why?
Ohio,
why is this a thing?
People from Ohio, what are you doing? What is the worst unnecessary purchase you've ever made?
I was with my ex at the time, and she was too stubborn to get herself a new phone, so I bought her a new phone.
Oh, no. Make his pockets hurt. What is your go-to song that gets you out of a funk?
I got 3. Tarzan Boy, Jungle Boy's theme song.
Okay.
Judas by Fozzy.
Okay.
Featuring Chris Jericho. And Kingdom by Downstate, which is the Cody Rhodes theme song. Those 3 theme songs. The moment I hear them, let's go.
Who are your top 5 professional wrestlers currently right now?
Randy Orton.
Okay.
My man is having the time of his life with Riddle as his tag team partner. Any segment that those two are in, I am absolutely going to be busted up laughing because it's Riddle with his funniness or Randy just going along with it. Number 2, Sami Zayn. I give Sami so much props for him going with what they give him, especially that match he had at Mania with Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville of the Jackass crew. Can you believe that?
Sami Zayn did not have to do any of that. He could have said, no, I don't want this. I don't want to do this. I'm above all this. But that man literally said, I want this, and let's do whatever you want to do and make it hilarious.
Got that exposure.
Got pinned with a giant mousetrap. And I give all the props to Sami Zayn on that one for just going along with it and being a good sport about it. That's absolutely world-class experience there. Number 3, coming out of AEW for me, I am a huge fan of Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
Love Adam Cole in the ring, and I even love watching him on Twitch.
Okay, yeah, Twitch streamer, of course.
Yes, the Chugs. Gotta love watching him, especially when he plays like horror games too. It is the greatest thing ever when the jump scares get him, and I'm like, oh, dude, your reaction is the greatest thing. Impact Wrestling number 4, Trey Miguel. Gotta show love to the fam. Him doing great things right now with that X Division champion. I guarantee it. By the end of 2022 or even the start of 2023, he is going to be Impact Heavyweight Champion. I am putting money on that one.
Trey, you heard this right here.
Number 5, most important, last but not least, certainly not least, I am a big John Silver fan from the Dark Order.
Big Chungy, right? Or Big Hungy?
Johnny Hungy.
Hungy.
Johnny Hungy. The dude, like, even on social media when being the Elite, funny. But being in the ring, he's impressive. He's not the tallest dude, but he can go. I would not be mad if they gave him a chance at the TNT title and he won it.
Right.
Would not be mad.
What is to you a big no-no going to someone's stream?
Not acknowledging anybody. One of my biggest things, that is my biggest thing I cannot stand. Like, if I lead my community, well, technically not a community, but if I bring my people to your stream and your notification goes off and you don't even acknowledge that it came in, or you're not saying what's up to the chat or anything, like you're just dead focused on the game, even after, like, if you're playing Call of Duty and you die, you don't take that 2 seconds just like look over at your chat window, or even, you know, you hear the notification go off. There's no way that you're not going to hear it.
Right.
And you're not taking that time to acknowledge who's ever in there. That's the last time you see me.
Do you happen to have a favorite Spanish word?
I may be Mexican, but I'm a diet Mexican. No, I am a decaffeinated Mexican.
Diet decaffeinated? What you mean?
I am the whitest Mexican that you will know. I may have Lopez in my last name, but I don't speak Spanish for the lick of me. But if I had to say, if there was one Spanish word that was my absolute favorite.
Sure.
Oh man. I think it's, for me, is I can call anybody a pendejo and get away with it. Not have to have any words about it.
Between you and your girlfriend, be honest with me now, Danny. Who snores the loudest?
Me. 100%.
And she can acknowledge that.
Yep.
Okay.
Because she kicks me.
She what?
She kicks me. She will kick me. She will kick me, wake me up, and I'm like, what? What's wrong? She's like, you are snoring too damn loud. Sounds like 2 chainsaws going at it. I'm like,
whoa.
Okay, well, hey, okay, but you could just, like, woke me up a little bit easier. She's like, no, because then you wouldn't have woken up. I'm like, that's fair.
Who is an underrated professional wrestler, past, present, or future, that does not get the recognition that they deserve?
Billy Kidman.
Good
Billy
answer.
Kidman.
Good answer.
I was a big Billy Kidman fan from WCW, even in WWE when with his feud with Paul London over the Cruiserweight title back in 03-04. Kidman, Mysterio, back when they were the Filthy Animals with Conan, Eddie Guerrero. I was always a big Kidman fan. And another one as well, big Lash LaRue fan. Not everybody was a Lash LaRue fan. I was a Lash LaRue fan. And honestly, yeah, I'd say those were my top 2 underrated superstars of all time.
Okay. And for Billy Kidman, for those that are not aware, wrestled for WCW, was in WWE. Now I think he's a producer or was a producer for WWE. Yeah, and his finishing move, the 450 splash, has done damage to a specific wrestler. I believe it was Chavo Guerrero. At one point, the Shooting Star Press. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Shooting Star, and it gave him like a broken neck or something like that too. And it was pretty. It's a pretty deadly move, man.
If done if done correctly, it's a thing of beauty. Done incorrectly, it's hazardous. As we seen with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19, broke his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always tell everybody, if you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it.
Yeah.
Save yourself.
As we're winding down here on one of the many episodes here of Season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, Danny, I got to ask you, because you are a diehard professional wrestling fan, and I got to ask real quick, because I, for one, behind me, if you see the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt right behind me, oh yeah, dig it! I would love to own some memorabilia of wrestling stuff, but it's just like I don't have enough space for it or the funds for it. May I ask, are you an avid collector of professional wrestling figures, belts, or anything memorabilia related?
You see, Slowpoke, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, with the World Wrestling Federation Championship. It's a little bit of Macho Man right there.
Sure.
I am a diehard, like you said, yes, diehard wrestling fan. I do have wrestling memorabilia stuff. I collect hoodies. I collect T-shirts as well.
Okay.
Outside of that, I do collect Funko Pops, and I do collect socks. I collect socks. I have a few right here myself that are some of my favorites.
Okay.
I got Iron Man.
Okay.
Got the Marvel set.
Right.
I got Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh, nice.
And one that always be loved in my childhood, I got Scooby.
Right.
Gotta have Scooby. Funko wise, these ones are the most recent ones added to my collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I also gotta tip my cap to my girlfriend for getting me into it.
Okay.
Got me into Hamilton. I have Alexander Hamilton, and I have the exclusive Lafayette as well.
Whoa! Show that again, man. Come on, bring it up here. Beautiful. Look at that. Awesome, dude.
Absolutely.
Did you initially get that itch of like, I want to collect these pop figures, or just like I don't see the hype in this, like just whatever. Like I'm gonna take them out of the box and throw the box away.
So I got the inkling from Tommy, Pokey Tommy, if you will.
Sure.
We all know and love Tommy.
Sure.
Him and a few other buddies that we've met from wrestling and also through streaming as well.
Mm-hmm.
All like Funko Pops, and I'm like, I'll get a couple here and there. I saw some cool ones that I wanted, so I got them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cool ones I got the Eddie Guerrero WrestleMania 20 Funko with the pin for WrestleMania 20 in the box as well.
Wow.
I was like, this is the only one I see. I have to snag it, so I snagged it up.
Okay.
I've pre-ordered every WWE game that ever comes out.
Mm-hmm.
When they did the Ric Flair edition of 2K, I believe it was either 18 or 19, whichever one it was. It had a special exclusive Ric Flair Funko Pop with it as well, so I got that. That's sitting in the room right now as well.
Okay.
I got the special edition Rock Mankind. That was a Walmart exclusive. I snagged that one up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a few things that I've collected with that. I now started getting the more like the anime ones. I got Dragon Ball Z ones. I got Full Metal Alchemist ones. I got Sword Art Online. I got Fairy Tail. I got few other Funkos. I got some Scooby Doo ones.
Yeah.
So it's just a slow build to those as well.
It's a cool little hobby to have, man. And
It is.
I feel like all that, like putting it as a whole, where's Twitch belong in that? Is that almost like you kind of are, I don't want to say falling out of love with it, or like kind of not want to put that in a major priority? Like where do you see yourself like realistically trying to put that all into like that giddiness of like, I can't wait to come back. I can't wait to put out some streams. Is it kind of like in due time, or like main focus is wrestling, collecting whatever, like your figurines, and then Twitch?
Twitch is always going to be a main focus for me. I want it to grow more for me. To the one day where I do eventually ever meet that end all be all goal where this pays the bills. One day, I believe it will happen. Not right now. I always look at it as like Rome was never built in a day. It took time to build Rome. It's going to take time to build the Twitch channel. It builds time to build the followers, that relation with them that keeps bringing them back.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to catch lightning in the bottle immediately and then go through that. Best saying here, got to go through hard times, daddy. Hard times.
Oh, man.
The American dream, that's the roads.
Your brother mentioned him too as well in our episode in season 2, man. The late great Dusty Rhodes, man. I wanted to touch base with a specific wrestler since you're wearing the AEW gear. We got to talk about Brody Lee. For those of you that not aware, Brody Lee, he used to wrestle at WWE. He was in the Wyatt family, known as Luke Harper. A lot of people, when they saw Brody Lee, Mr. Brody Lee, I do apologize for that. When they saw Brody Lee coming by to AEW, fighting the likes of Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes, and just seeing the potential of what he had, he was taken away from us far too soon. To you, Danny, do you think that the passing of Brody Lee paves a good pathway for those such as CM Punk coming back from wrestling, retiring from wrestling, or just taking a long hiatus? Bryan Danielson, all these people that they had an opportunity in the shine light in WWE, but now that they're in AEW, like almost like Brody Lee paved the way for these wrestlers to come by and support such a company as AEW.
For me, Brody Lee is what helped the Dark Order. I knew, like, for Punk, if a company was going to bring him in, it had to be the right deal for him. I don't think Brody Lee had any influence on that. If it did, it obviously hasn't been said yet. But if it has, then we know it. They faced the past back in Ring of Honor back in the day. I would love to see a rematch between the two. Same thing with him and Bryan, back for their feud in WWE with the Wyatts and Bryan as Daniel Bryan back in the day. But I feel like Mr. Brody Lee, his contribution to AEW is what helped the Dark Order, and it's why we see them so pivotably used now. I wish they could be used a little bit more instead of, just seeing them here and there on Dynamite or Rampage or on Dark and Elevation. I would like to see, John Silver and Alex Reynolds get more of a push for the tag titles. I would like to see either Evil Uno and Stu Grayson get a shot at it. Or better yet, bring in a trios title. Bring in the trios tag titles. You got multiple 3-man group. You got the Gun Club. You got the Dark Order. You have the Factory with Nick Camarado, Aaron Solo, and QT Marshall. You got Team Taz. There's so much talent built into that company, but there's only so far they can go with each member of the roster. And to me, it sucks, but I get it as a business aspect. There's certain superstars you're wanting to push here and there.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a little bit more come out of them just so we can see more involvement for superstars.
And then going back to Brody, where as I mentioned, he was taken away from us far too soon, but he laid the foundation almost to like, it is possible to make someone who was not really acknowledged in another organization, to shine a light on them and to see the potential in them. Again, Brody, he had the athleticism of being a tall, wrestler, can move, the agility of a cruiserweight. Who do you see yourself almost filling in that void with Brody Lee as like currently that are in the AEW roster for yourself? Like any top 5, 3, whatever it is, or just one that can almost cement their legacy, much as how Brody Lee was on his way to being that.
Being as for a bigger gentleman, Powerhouse Hobbs or Keith Lee, being that they're big men, but they can move like the smaller guys can. Those are like two that come to my mind. I've followed Keith Lee's work in the indies before he even got to WWE. he was one of my favorite big guys to watch, and seeing him being so nimble on his feet, it's like, wow, this dude. Like if he gets signed by the E, they're gonna have a diamond with this guy. He's big. He can move quickly. He can go.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to talk. You can build him like a big monster, and he doesn't have to talk.
Yep.
But yet he carries himself so well. He's well educated, well verbally known, to where, you know, when he talks, they obviously, if you've paid attention to Twitter with Keith Lee, the Keith Lee looks like the kind of guy jokes, and I went along with it. Like, I was reading the whole feed, and I'm just dying laughing. And, like, he's responding to them as well as, like, you know, you got me on that one. That's actually accurate. And I'm over here like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, what a guy. And so Keith Lee is really like, he got a shot at WWE. It could have been better, but now that he's in AEW, it's looking pretty bright for him. And I do believe with, as you mentioned, social media, where do you find yourself implementing that in your career as not even a professional wrestler itself, but the Twitch streaming? Is it going to be beneficial for you? Do you use it a lot, or is it almost in a, you're trying to learn also too how to like balance both of them too?
Definitely trying to find the right way to make it work for everybody, for whatever I'm doing, whether it's my Twitch streams or it's the Marksman Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
I try to make sure I let people know days in advance, like, hey, we're going to be going live Sunday with X episode discussing this. Like, if it's a pay-per-view, like if it's a before a pay-per-view show, we're giving our predictions beforehand.
Yeah.
If it's after a pay-per-view, we recap. We talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. I try to use social media a lot to make it work. But again, I'll be honest with you, it's sometimes it's a will thing for me where, like, I know I'll make that one post and done, whereas I wish I can make one post and it hits all social medias. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I got to go each individual one and make sure it's there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of added pressure where you don't think it might pay off. It might will, but it's just the gamble, especially like when it comes to being a professional wrestler, like trying to get that gamble of, hey, will this actual show be beneficial to me? Will the payoff be for Twitch streaming? Like, hey, you know what? Will this actual gameplay would be okay for me to do? Or like, am I going to gravitate the audience? It's all added pressure for sure. But I see that yourself, that you have the potential to, like, you do have that it factor where it comes to being an entertainer outside the ring, inside the streaming community and stuff. So where do you kind of see yourself now, where after this episode airs, like for the rest of the year 2022, do you see yourself moving forward in the future?
I definitely want to keep my best foot forward. I never want to, like, go lackadaisical with it or half-ass what I'm doing. If I know I never get back in the professional wrestling ring ever again in an active wrestling role, I want to try to make sure that this is that secondary thing that I have that I can make as that big career, that big thing that elevates me to that level to where I wanted to be years ago as that little kid who sat in front of his TV and was like, I want to be that. Well, unfortunately, some things don't work out like that where I can't be that. Now, I can make a career doing the one thing that people said, oh, that will never get you paid, playing video games. I'm pretty sure everybody out there has had that one teacher or that one person say, oh, video games will never pay the bills. But yet we look at, like, Tim the Tap Man, Ninja, Dr. Disrespect, even a few other people, like, names are escaping me right now.
Sure.
That they made it big off of video games. And it's like, if they can do it, we know we can do it as well. We just got to put the effort in.
And that is, like, slowly but surely for you, Danny. And I feel like you keep that momentum going, whether, hey, in my eyes, I feel like the part of you having this opportunity to go back into professional wrestling, this might pay off where, hey, you get this exposure and you will run with it, where you come back to Twitch, hey, this is where I can find you there. This is where I can interact with you. And, like, almost like if you make it big here, almost like Adam Cole, for example, big professional wrestler, big time, even makes time for Twitch streaming. Hell, that's how he's gravitating more people to come on by, get to know more about him, that side, that goofy side of him, like, or like, you know, the suspenseful scares and, like, you know, the giddiness of, like, you know, just him being a human being. And, like, you already have that already implemented both. So hopefully by the rest of the year, if an opportunity strikes, you're going to take advantage of it, and we're going to be all in there for the ride, Danny.
Absolutely, man. You know, if some people, like, I look at it like this, I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to eat. If you're in there with me and you're at that table with me, cool. If I eat, you're eating as well. If you eat, I hope I'm eating as well. But if I get somebody who's like, hey man, I don't like this and this and that, I don't think this could be that. Hey man, that's cool. You're telling me what you feel. Now I hope you're successful, man, and I hope that you're good, but I don't want to come eat at your table, and I hope you don't come eat at mine.
Yeah, no, enough said there, Danny. Danny, I would like to give you the floor here to give people a fresh reminder of who you are, where do you stream at, and where, like, in the area you'll be actually, like, wrestling or going into, any future projects, what's your, anything else you'd like to put on the table? Because you, my friend, are the head of the table. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, first things first, everyone acknowledge me.
Yes.
I'm kidding. That's not my shtick. But no, yes, I am Shut Up Danny, or Danny, if you will. I am the decaffeinated Mexican that is a part of this podcast, and you will see me on Twitch as well. You will be seeing me and my brother, Rio Deal Castillo, and our teacher, Chambers, again, very, very soon in the professional wrestling world, traveling around back very first soon in Indiana. We're going to be back at a hometown promotion there for us in Indiana very, very soon. Dates to be announced for other shows as well. If I'll be a part of those or not, we'll never know. We just got to find out how it works outside of that.
Sure.
For Twitch streaming as well, you guys can always catch me on there. My social medias is where you're going to know if I'm going live. If you're not following me on Twitter at ShutUpDanny_TTV, or if you're not following me at Instagram at ShutUpDanny_TTV, and you don't see the post, you don't get the notification, you're not going to know that I'm live. I'm open to talk to anybody who wants to come on in and we just shoot shit. I don't judge anybody's 2022. However you want to come in there, man, look, you be cool to me, I'm cool back to you. You respect my place, I respect you. Simple as that.
Wow, nicely worded, my friend.
And then real quick, future projects as well.
Sure.
I am in the midst of getting some other consoles as well, retro consoles as well.
Okay.
That will be bringing some more fun things out there. Once I start figuring out how to do this whole Discord thing out, and I can actually get an actual community based in here.
Okay.
We can actually open the door for some community nights and have some fun there. I got some ideas with that. I just got to figure out how I want to plan things out for that.
Yeah, and for those that would want to keep up to date on what Danny's up to, or just want him to shut up, please check him out over on Twitch at ShutUpDanny_TTV, along with the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Hover as well too. Danny, I gotta tell you, I'm super proud of you for almost picking yourself up back and doing professional wrestling. I'm a big fan of professional wrestling. I got giddy. I got super stoked. We were messaging back and forth before we even started to hit the record button on this, that we were just super stoked to finally talk. Now I know we didn't get a lot. We could have gotten more in depth, but I personally would want to. I don't want to personally invite myself, but your podcast, maybe possibly one day. I've talked to with your brother too about possibly joining with you guys about almost doing maybe a possible podcast streaming interview and stuff like that, because in the near future though, because this right here,
brother, absolutely, the invite's always open whenever you feel like you can make it in. How we did here, we'll correlate, we'll get you in there, man. Have you come on there, we'll get you out there, we'll have you talk to the world, we'll talk down, we'll sit with Slowpoke, and we'll have Slowpoke's opinions on, Monday Night Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Impact, New Japan, MLW, SmackDown, Rampage. Let me pick your brain a little bit, and let me see what you're working with, and how would you go about certain situations if you were given the ultimate pen for deciding.
Absolutely, man. So this has been a really awesome conversation that I'm looking forward to round 2 already. It's gonna happen, it's bound to happen, but further down the road, when you're hitting the roads and stuff like that, and eating over at a gas station because that's all you can get for now, or you're eating a 5-course meal buffet, remember that whole acknowledgement of the whole aura of almost setting the pedestal, or that set trail, you know what, I'm gonna go back into this. Started right here in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, acknowledging people, letting them know that, hey, you are coming back. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. Shut up, Danny. Thank you so much for taking up your time here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show for season 3. That hopefully, I'm gonna say this, hopefully further down the road, you get a match over in AEW.
Absolutely, man. If I get a match at AEW, I don't care if it's a squash match, or if I get to have a 5-minute, 7-minute, 8-minute, 10-minute. However it may be, excuse me. I'm I'm just blessed for the opportunity. If I'm like my boy Jason Hotch, who was against Lance Archer one time, where he was running to the ring, and the dapper yapper Justin Roberts said, chasing his opponent to the ring.
Oh, that was that guy.
Oh my goodness! If I even get to be a part of that, I stamp of approval. I'm done. I'll check out. That's the end of it for me.
Let's hope, man. Let's hope, man. This has been a really great conversation here with Shut Up Danny. Check him out over here, over on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and at Hover too as well, at ShutUpDanny_TTV. I've been SlowpokeFelitos. I'm a part-time streamer, part-time alcoholic, a seasonal Catholic, an official Lego Builder license holder, and the host of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Danny, to conclude this, tweet sweet me, brother.
Absolutely. Get that too sweet.
We'll catch you guys later. Adios, everybody.